quite a fair number, right? Actually went around looking in the resale market, but they really cannot find anything of good value or of the characteristics that they like. Some developments, a lot of units, but anytime 2 to 3 units for sale, sometimes low floor, the facing they don't like, blah blah blah. Might as well go to a new development. You can pick the facing and all those. So resale under supply, not enough choices in the resale market. And moving on to prediction number 6, the high take-up rate in launches. And for this, I believe most of you would have agreed that the take-up rate of the launches in 2023 was very good lah. But I'm going to be quite critical with myself and give me this phase lah, right? What this phase means is not right but also not too wrong, basically 50-50. And let me explain why. I classify project or launch as a high take-up rate, well sold, right? If it sell above 50% at launch lah. I sort of have classified all the launches in 2023, slightly larger launches, right, into about 16 of them. And out there, 16 of them, just nice right smack down the middle. 8 sold above 50%, 8 sold below 50%, which is why, I gave myself this score of this phase. And so, right, let's take a look at some of the best performing launches over in 2023. We have Jurong that sold 88% at launch. Yeah, I have an average PSF of 2451 PSF, and this is in Jurong, mind you guys. We're real benchmark prices, and I think this price, the interesting thing here is this, right? The Jurong East area really is the benchmark price setter, always been the benchmark price setter for PSFs in the market. Because the last one, right, J Gateway set the benchmark PSF then after that, everyone else started to follow through, right? So now Jurong is the new Jurong East one, so setting 2451, and believe it or not, this is where the market is going to head towards lah, right, moving forward. Okay, for the OCR, of course, not going to be immediate, right, but sooner rather than later, right? Right now, you're going to look at J Gateway that time launched 1,700 PSF, albeit a good 10 to 13 years ago. Second best performing one, Blossoms by the Park, 73% sold 2423 PSF. This is over at the One North area. Okay, then we have the Reserve Residences, 71% sold, very well received. That's a matter of fact, right? Jurong, Reserve Residences, I didn't expect them to sell to this level, this popularity, especially because of the kind of price points. But now, in hindsight, if you look at Reserve Residences average PSF and compare that to Jurong average PSF, the first day buyers of Reserve Residences have nothing to worry about already. And one of the takeaways from Reserve Residences I am taking this opportunity to share is that I was surprised at how many of those buyers really came, because my team closed quite a fair number of units over at Reserve Residences. Quite surprised at how many of those people, the former D10, those people that stay D10, right, wanted to buy these Reserve Residences, primarily because I did share this a little bit in the video, my Reserve Residences video. So out of all this, I did reviews of all this. I'm going to put all the links inside. Okay, not all of them, but quite a fair number of them. I did a review of those. I can put that down into the description below or somewhere in this video. I did say inside that I believe there was going to be sort of an emotional attachment to the area, because a lot of good schools, your MGS and the good schools people, they kind of grew up in that area, and the Reserve Residence really is going to be the attention grabber in that area, the main marker in that area, and that's going to drive demand, and the sell-through rate kind of proved that way lah, right? But still better than what I expected, because the Upper Bukit Timah, the Beauty World area, wouldn't be the first choice if you previously without Reserve Residences. If you ask the folks that stay in the D10 one, right? But suddenly Reserve come out and then they're all okay with the area, I guess, because of the amenities and the whole build of the Reserve Residence Far East and whatnot. Okay, then we have Sinaka over at Tanah Merah MRT selling 60% at 2,000 PSF in Tanah Merah. Again, better than I expected it to be honest. Okay, Wharton House also 57% at 3,200. This is perhaps somewhere within expectations. I did expect the 3 compact, the smaller units over there to sell through. Again, I've done a review on this as well. You could check that out. This again, right, goes to show the CCR really is very diverse in terms of the supply into the market, and also in terms of the demand into the CCR market. They are very, very discerning. Okay, and of course, I do expect Wharton to continue to outperform moving forward. Really, the area anchored down by very strong organic demand, albeit not too close to the MRT public amenities, but who cares, right? Those people that can afford those, and anchored down by 2 very popular primary schools. And then we have Grand Dunman, 55% sold. So this is over 1,000 units, so 55% sold. So on itself, it's almost bigger than quite a fair number of the rest of the other developments. On its own, 55% sold already. Again, very impressive, very sought after development, very anticipated development, which is why this, again, not surprising for Grand Dunman. We have Tembusu Grand also in District 15, 53% sold. So very popular. This one slightly earlier in the year. It was the first of that 3 projects to launch in District 15, like these 3 brothers, right? So to speak, 53%. So, and then we have Lentor Hills Residences also 50% sold. Again, this Lentor Hills being 50% sold, a bit better than I expected it to be, especially considering the fact that most people going to the Lentor area are aware of the potential oversupply. They are willing to accept it. I believe also this one because it's anchored down by St. Nicholas Girls and also walking distance to the MRT, and also the price point is quite a fair bit more acceptable than Lentor Modern, and a lot of the buyers have seen the Lentor Modern performance that gave them some confidence to enter in despite the fact that it's above PSF, right? And then we look at some of the reasons why these developments outperform and why I feel later on I give them my predictions for the next year. The reasons for the outperformance, right? Number one, the resale undersupply. Again, right, I'm going to dive into this a little bit more in detail later on in the video, but basically in the resale market, if you want to find some good areas, cannot find. Give you an example. You want to find a Wharton Estate, similar units at that kind of price quantum, because Wharton Estate, you go surrounding, really no supply one in the area if you want a 3-bedder at that kind of price quantum. Okay, JDen, similarly, I've broken down the supply into that area, J Gateway or the older Ivory Heights and Westmere, that kind of thing, right? So for particular areas or like-for-like areas, there really isn't much options available to you. If not, then the options are very wide apart. My theory of the old versus new supply, which then makes a lot of people then choose to decide to buy a new development, right? And also personally for ourselves, right, the clients that have picked the slightly newer development, or pick all these new developments, all of them are, they straight out decided that they want to buy a new development. Not all of them decided that, right? Quite a fair number, right? Actually went around looking in the resale market, but they really cannot find anything of good value or of the characteristics that they like. Some developments, a lot of units, but anytime 2 to 3 units for sale, sometimes low floor, the facing they don't like, blah blah blah. Might as well go to a new development. You can pick the facing and all those. So resale undersupply, not enough choices in the resale market. And then when the resale market have choices, a lot of the sellers are asking very high prices, some even with COV. Okay, but if you go into the new development, there's no COV involved, the valuations will all match up. Lastly, like our minister said, a lot of Singaporeans today are more open to renting already, right? So I do see quite a fair number of them. Some of them are already on rentals, right? They didn't decide to just continue renting to purchase the new developments, or they are really just not that closed off to, just sell, go out to rent and buy a new development as they get something brand new. They get to choose the unit, the facing, and then they don't have to buy at above market prices. Of course, then we also have some of the developments that underperform, and when I classify underperform is under 50% now, which is why Botany, Sway 48% and fall under this. Over at Dairy Farm, we have Terra Hill at Pasir Panjang, 38% sold. This one is freehold. Surprisingly, one of the things you notice over here, only Wharton House over here is freehold. But over here, under this 50, those underperforming, right? That's freehold, and Terra Hill, that is freehold. Right? Quite interesting thing to note, right? Freehold really nowadays are getting less and less popular. Despite the fact that their PSF, in the end, their quantums are not that far away from their 99-year counterparts. Okay, we have the Garden Residences, the Lake Garden Residences, sorry, 31% over at MRT 2110 PSF, only 31% sold. We have Pine Tree Hill, 29% sold. Pine Tree Hill at the Mount Sinai area. Hillock Green, 28% sold. This one is at the Lentor area. Continuum, one of the 3D15 brothers. Surprisingly, considering the other 2 brothers are 53 and 55% sold, this one being the only freehold one in the area, only 27% sold. Somewhat surprising to me, but of course, if you want to see whether it's good value or not, you can watch my reviews. Actually, very simple. If I honestly don't think the development is good, usually I don't do review for that development. Those that I do, usually usually I feel, quite okay, but of course I will put in my caveats and whatnot lah. So if you want to see this list and see which ones I feel got good value, you just need to go and see the playlist and to see which ones I did review, and you get the answer. Okay, then we have the mist over near at the Chestnut area, 27%, and of course this one it goes to show CCR all made very differently. We have one CCR here, 57% sold, and we have one CCR here that's 2% sold, right? The former Maxwell house. Quite sad in terms of their performance lah.